1,339 73%, 5,048 83%, 2,665. Research and development expenses, in millions, 3,079 12%, 2,746 4%, 2,858 15%, 3,358 4%, 3,217 15%, 2,807. Consolidated net income, loss, in millions, 4,247 1%, 4,213 472%, 1,133 17%, 1,362 15%, 3,054 29%, 2,361. Earnings, losses. Per share 5.401%, 5.36 470%, 1.45 17%, 1.75 42%, 3.94 29%, 3.05. Dividend per share 1.80 20%, 1.50 none 1.65 10%, 1.50. Free cash flow, in millions, 4,324 33%, 3,511 148%, 7,362 296%, 3,753 10%, 3,505 9%, 3,735. New orders, in millions, 82,521 33%, 62,007 86%, 33,290 59%, 81,195 46%, 55,521. Order backlog at year-end, in millions, 449,241 13%, 398,439 7%, 373,127 21%, 471,488 3%, 459,525. Portion defense orders, in millions, 47,242 10%, 43,110 12%, 38,587 1%, 38,129 3%, 39,312. Employees at year-end 134,267 6%, 126,495 4%, 131,349 3%, 134,931 1%, 133,671 3%, 129,442. Accounted for under IFRS, fiscal year ending the 31st of December. Financial results, 2004-2013. Environmental record, edit. See also, environmental impact of aviation. Airbus has committed to Flight Path 2050, an aviation industry plan to reduce noise, CO2, and NOx emissions. Airbus was the first aerospace business to become ISO 14001 certified, in January 2007. This is a broader certification covering the whole organization, not just the aircraft it produces. In association with Honeywell and JetBlue, Airbus has developed a biofuel to reduce pollution and dependence on fossil fuels, claiming that this has the potential to replace up to a third of the world's aviation fuel. Algae-based biofuel absorbs carbon dioxide during growth and does not compete with food production. This alternative may be commercially available by 2030, but algae and other vegetation-based fuels are in an early stage of development, and fuel-bearing algae have been expensive to develop. Airbus offers delivery flights to airlines using a 10% biofuel blend in standard engines. The fuel does not cut carbon emissions but is free of sulfur emissions, which demonstrates that the fuel could be used in commercial flights in unmodified engines. In September 2020, Airbus unveiled 3 liquid hydrogen-fueled ZEROe concept aircraft that it claims could become the first commercial zero-emission aircraft, entering service by 2035. Controversies, edit. Government subsidies, edit. Boeing has continually protested over launch aid and other forms of government aid to Airbus, while Airbus has argued that Boeing receives illegal subsidies through military and research contracts and tax breaks. In July 2004, former Boeing CEO Harry Stone Cipher accused Airbus of abusing a 1992 bilateral EU-US agreement providing for disciplines for large civil aircraft support from governments. Airbus is given reimbursable launch investment, RLI, called launch aid by the US, from European governments, with the money being paid back with interest plus indefinite royalties, but only if the aircraft is a commercial success. Airbus contends that this system is fully compliant with the 1992 agreement and WTO rules. The agreement allows up to 33% of the program cost to be met through government loans, which are to be fully repaid within 17 years with interest and royalties. These loans are held at a minimum interest rate equal to the cost of government borrowing plus 0.25%, which would be below market rates available to Airbus without government support. Airbus claims that since the signature of the EU-US agreement in 1992, it has repaid European governments more than $6.7 billion and that this is 40% more than it has received. Airbus argues that the military contracts awarded to Boeing, the second largest U.S. defense contractor, are in effect a form of subsidy, such as the controversy surrounding the Boeing KC-767 military contracting arrangements. The significant U.S. government support of technology development via NASA also provides significant support to Boeing, as do the large tax breaks offered to Boeing, which some people claim are in violation of the 1992 agreement and WTO rules. In its recent products such as the 787, Boeing has also been offered direct financial support from local and state governments. In January 2005, the European Union and United States trade representatives, Peter Mandelson and Robert Zoellick respectively, agreed to talks aimed at resolving the increasing tensions. These talks were not successful, with the dispute becoming more acrimonious rather than approaching a settlement. WTO ruled in August 2010 and in May 2011 that Airbus had received improper government subsidies through loans with below-market rates from several European countries. In a separate ruling in February 2011, WTO found that Boeing had received local and federal aid in violation of WTO rules. Cluster bomb allegation, edit. In 2005, the Government Pension Fund of Norway recommended the exclusion of several companies producing cluster bombs or components. EADS and its sister company EADS Finance BV were among them, arguing that EADS manufactures key components for cluster bombs. The criticism was centered around TDA, a joint venture between EADS and Thales SA. TDA produced the mortar ammunition PR Cargo, which can be considered cluster ammunition. However, this definition has since been successfully battled by EADS. EADS and its subsidiaries are now regarded as fulfilling all the conditions of the Ottawa Treaty. According to the new point of view, no product of EADS or its subsidiaries falls into the category of anti-personnel mines as defined by the Ottawa Treaty, landmines under the Ottawa Treaty. In April 2006, the fund declared that the basis for excluding EADS from investments related to the production of cluster munitions is no longer valid. However, its shareholding of MBDA means the fund still excludes EADS due to its indirect involvement in nuclear weapons production. Insider Trading Investigation, edit. On the 2nd of June 2006, co-CEO Noel Forget and Airbus CEO Gustav Humbert resigned following the controversy caused by the June 2006 announcement that deliveries of the A380 would be delayed by a further 6 months. Forget was one of a number of executives including John Paul Gutt who exercised stock options in November 2005 and March 2006. He and 21 other executives are under investigation as to whether they knew about the delays in the Airbus A380 project, which caused a 26% fall in EADS shares when publicized. The French government's actions were also under investigation. The state-owned bank Caisse des Dépôts et Consignations, CDC, bought part of Lagarde's 7.5% stake in EADS in April 2006, allowing that latter to partially escape the June 2006 losses. Bribery allegations, edit. South Africa, edit. In 2003, Tony Yengini, former chief whip of South Africa's African National Congress, was convicted of fraud worth around $5 billion relating to an arms deal with South Africa, in which Airbus, formerly EADS, were major players. It was claimed that Airbus had admitted that it had rendered assistance to around 30 senior officials, including Defence Force Chief General Siphiwe Nyanda, to obtain luxury vehicles. In March 2003, South Africa withdrew all charges of bribery against the former head of EADS South Africa, and in September 2004, the prosecutor's office dismissed the bribery charges against Yengini. Saudi Arabia, edit. In August 2012, the UK's Serious Fraud Office opened a criminal investigation into an EADS subsidiary, GPT Special Project Management Limited, regarding bribery allegations made by GPT's former program director, Ian Foxley. Foxley alleged that luxury cars were bought for senior Saudis, and that millions of pounds sterling were paid to mysterious Cayman Islands companies, possibly to secure a £2 billion contract to renew the Saudi Arabian National Guard's military telecommunications network. Foxley's allegations were supported by 2 other GPT employees. The later agreement.
Yes, the camcorder is out of power, but we are almost finished, and I cannot charge my camcorder again because the charger plug is damaged. So this is my final video.